All right. So I think we just we just finished up. There was a lot to cover. So let's take a look at the questions and we'll see how many we can answer. All right. Gio, you got some good questions for me?
Postage need to get paid up front?
Huh?
Does postage need to get paid up front?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's a good question. Does postage need to get paid up front? So yes, postage on our website, everything is paid for as I showed in the tool. Let me see if I can go back here. I do think I have a screenshot here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you guys can see it here, but pretty much we charge you for everything up front. So we charge you for the product, we charge you for the EDDM service, the bundling, and the postage as well. And like I mentioned, the postage is a pass-through charge. So there's not like two separate bills that you have to worry about. There's not like an estimate that we give you up front and then we give you another, solid bill later. Everything is paid for up front. The print, the bundling, the EDDM service, and the postage, all under one charge. And then you pay for that in the shopping cart on our website, and we take care of literally everything else. All right. Got another one?
As a seller, are they able to mark up their postage price?
Okay, so as a seller, can you mark up the postage price? So I've heard different answers around this because that has come up before with different customers that I've handled. I think it depends on the state. So if you want to mark up postage, I believe if you're reselling the postage, there are some rules and regulations depending on what state you're in. I would definitely recommend contacting your local business like City Hall, getting some information around that. So yeah, there's a lot of different rules and regulations around postage that even we as a forward business have encountered ourselves. So definitely check that out on your own. I don't have all the answers for all the different states, unfortunately. I know the rules are very different for depending on which state. So I would highly recommend going and researching that on your own to see, what the rules are for that. Okay. Yeah,
Those are
no.
the common ones.
Hmm?
Those are the most common ones.
No, yeah. All right. Let's take a look here. Oh yeah, city chamber of commerce is a good one too. Yeah, it's kind of that has a lot behind it. So definitely recommend kind of going on your own and checking that out as far as like what you can upcharge and all that. Okay.
Can they send booklets for EDDM?
What was that?
Multi-page booklets.
Oh, so that's a good question. So can you send booklets with EDDM? So as for full service, we don't have that product available. We don't have a booklet available or a brochure, kind of more bindery kind of method products. We don't have that available currently. That is something that we're looking into, and hopefully in the future we can include those in our offering. But you can do it on your own. You can print a booklet or brochure with us, and EDDM, USPS EDDM DIY, that allows you to do those types of items. You still have to, like I said, there, go into the rules and regulations of, because there's thickness rules and also weight rules. And kind of the general rule for USPS, from what I've heard, is if you want to do an EDDM mailing, the mail carrier should be able to carry it in one bundle within one hand. So that's kind of the rule they have. That's why they have all those rules and regulations around like the sizes restrictions, the weight restrictions, and the thickness restrictions. Because as you get thicker in product, the bundle will get thicker, the more difficult it will be for the mail carrier to take. But yeah, definitely you can do that. Booklets, brochures, greeting cards, all those different products are available for you to do on your own. Forward doesn't carry it as a full service solution yet, but we're working on it. We're working to bring you some more products. So hopefully in the future, we'll be able to accommodate those types of products as well.
Do we guarantee a delivery date?
Ah, okay, so that's a good question. Do we guarantee a delivery date? So if you noticed, let me go back to the trade website or the Forver website, sorry. So here, so as I mentioned, you do have the ability to choose a date for EDDM full service, right? Here you can choose an in mailbox date, and that in mailbox date is the date that we estimate the postcard or the mailing to get into the public's hands. Okay, so that's really the end date. As you can see, it is 8 days out. So that's the minimum amount of turnaround we need to be able to print, bundle, do the EDDM processing, hand it off to USPS, and then for USPS to finally process it themselves and get it into mailboxes. That will typically take about 8 days. Now, it is USPS, it is a USPS service, so it really depends on once we hand it off to the USPS, it's really up to them as to when they're going to deliver it. Typically, what I've seen is that they'll typically deliver, either 2 or 3 days before or after the date that you take, the date that you select here. Usually it is on the date from our experience, but sometimes it does vary from time to time. Maybe they couldn't get to one route one day, they get to it the next day. Different routes, different areas are kind of more reliable, less reliable. So, again, it is a USPS service. So once we hand it off to the USPS, it's really up to them to deliver it, when we kind of ask them to deliver it. So it's not a guarantee. It is an estimated date that you're selecting here. But from what I've heard, most customers usually get it around that date. All right. Yeah, shoot me. What's the minimum quantity for EDDM? So minimum quantity as a USPS regulation is 250. And you'll notice that sometimes if you're doing the routing online, sometimes one route will be under 250. So you do have to select at least 250 to be able to mail an EDDM order. Our maximum at the moment is for one single EDDM order is 25,000. You can do more than 25,000 if you do multiple orders, but you'll have to go through the process, a couple of times. If you want to do, like, for example, 50,000, you have to go through the process twice because our limit right now is 25,000.
Is there tracking to the post office?
Okay, that's a good question too. Is there tracking to the post office? So currently we don't have an automated tracking service with USPS at the moment. So we don't provide you with the tracking number live like we do with other products via UPS. But if you do need that tracking information, you can reach out to our customer service people. Our mailing department can provide you with that tracking number and tracking information from USPS. It might take us a little bit to kind of find it because it's a separate system that we have to go through and get that information from, but it definitely possible we can get the information to you if you need that tracking information. Oh, also, just for everybody, the webinar is being recorded. I think I forgot to mention that. The webinar is being recorded, so just in case you missed any part of it or you need to head out, no problem. Webinar is being recorded for you.
Do we ship to PO boxes?
Do we ship? Okay, so do we ship to PO boxes? So the answer currently is no, we don't ship to PO boxes at the moment. We don't have the ability to include PO boxes into our routing tool right now, but we are looking into it. We're working with USPS to be able to make that happen. So hopefully in the future, near future, we'll be able to add that to the routing tool. Okay, here's a question. Can you be a little more clear on the total cost of an EDDM program? I'm confused by all the different rates you've shown, and they don't seem to tie together. So very sorry about that. Let me go back to the presentation. All right, so for EDDM, let me go here. This is really the page that you should pay attention to, because this is what our rates are for EDDM. So here I'm showing you a 8.5 by 11 full service, 16 point full color with UV. These rates will include print, bundling, EDDM fulfillment, and postage from us. So our full service includes everything there. So if you go to our website, you select full service, you're going to get a price for print, bundling, EDDM fulfillment, and postage all in one. So as you'll see on the website, there's like a product price and a postage price, and that's pretty much it. That full service solution includes all of that. So at 5,000, and of course, just to kind of keep in mind too, with EDDM, you're not going to hit exactly 5,000. You're going to be kind of like a little bit under 5,000. So just kind of keep that in mind. But the rates for about 5,000 postcards are 30 cents per piece. Again, including print, bundling, our EDDM service, and postage, all rolled into one. It's a really, really low cost and effective solution. And just comparing that to, direct mail, this is our direct mail rate here as well. So for 5,000 4x6 using first class bulk mail, the rate for our rate for a 4x6 5,000 printed and mailed is 33 cents versus EDDM full service order, which is an 8.5 by 11, 16 point, UV both sides, 5,000 will cost you 30 cents. So 3 cents less, 3 full cents less per piece that you're gonna get once again, a much bigger area to advertise on for your customers, much bigger impact, 4x6 versus 8.5 by 11. Okay.
The average turnaround time?
So yeah, average turnaround time, like I kind of mentioned during the calendar section, is 8 days. And we need those 8 days. That includes the USPS delivery time as well. So within those 8 days, it's print, bundling, EDDM processing, and then hand off to USPS. And then USPS will take it from there and mail it out to all those customers, hopefully within those 8 days. Again, that's more of an estimate because USPS sometimes will take a little bit longer, maybe even take less time, I've heard. So it's really up to the USPS to deliver, because it is just a general kind of mail piece that they're delivering.
Someone asked about EDDM Suite, and a couple asked about white label.
Oh, okay. So EDDM Suite, we do have EDDM Suite as a service. I didn't go into EDDM because this was more kind of like trying to cover a lot of information in the more beginner section of it. But EDDM Suite is a service that we provide. It kind of acts like an EDDM kiosk. You do have to be there with your customers. You do have to log into your account, but that will allow customers to kind of do an EDDM routing themselves, so they can pick themselves which routes they want to choose to do. There is a markup tool within that system. If you do want more information about EDDM Suite, in the survey, where I'm going to send a survey out to everybody, you can put that in there in the survey as a question, and then we'll give you more information on that. I'm in rural Wyoming. Is it possible to select the multiple zip codes on a single project? So yes, you can. When you go into the full service tool, the routing section, you can type in one zip code, and you'll zoom out, and then you'll be able to see, I think, I think it's a 15 to 20 mile radius around that initial zip code. You'll be able to see all the zip codes around within a 20-mile radius around that initial zip code that you chose. So, and you can pick, you know, as many zip codes as you want. Our limit again, right now is 25,000 mailings. So you can select as many zip codes as you want, as long as it doesn't go over that 25,000 mailings. But yeah, you can definitely feel free to select as many zip codes as you want in our full service tool.
Will we ever offer business only option?
Business only. So no, so that's a good question. That's actually, if you notice with EDDM in the tool that I showed you, and actually if you do even EDDM DIY with the USPS by yourself, um, that is a restriction from USPS directly. So you can do business and residential, or you can do residential only. There's no way to select business only for EDDM. So that is a restriction that USPS kind of imposes on everybody, not only on us, but everybody for the EDDM tool. Only you can either select residential and business, or residential only. You cannot only select business addresses along the routes that you're choosing. Okay. All right. Let's see. What's the rate comparison? Rate comparison with other what other retail? So I think you might be talking about this slide here with the postage. So this is in reference to EDDM retail. If you do EDDM on your own, DIY service with USPS, they offer two different ways to do your EDDM service, EDDM retail and EDDM business mail entry unit, or BMU. If you're doing the EDDM full service with 4over, again, it's one simple solution. You don't have to worry about the restrictions or anything, and you get the lowest postage cost possible, which is, you know, again, I covered in this slide here. 168. This is the rate that you get from 4over using the full service solution. But again, if you want to do EDDM retail or do it yourself, you can do that on your own. The postage rate that you're going to pay for doing it on your own is higher at this rate for EDDM retail. And you know, if you do want to do it on your own, I very much welcome to. We do have a print only solution for you, so you can just print the postcards. We can bundle them up, and then we'll send them to you, and then you can take care of all the rest with USPS. Definitely, you know, available to do that as well. But you will be paying a higher rate for postage than you would with 4over. Okay. You see any other questions? Enter some questions in the question box. We'll be answering them for just a couple more minutes now. We'll go for another 10 minutes. And then any other questions that you might have, I'll be sending a survey out to everybody so you can enter them there, and then we'll cover them. You know, we'll reach out to you guys soon.
What is the difference between EDDM and direct mail?
Okay, yeah, so that's a good question. What is the difference between EDDM and direct mail? I did kind of cover this in the beginning, right here. So with EDDM, with direct mail is more typical. A lot of you are probably familiar with it. EDDM is pretty much, you know, you select your size, and then you pay for what type of postage you want, how fast you want the postage to go, and you have to include a mailing list. So that mailing list for direct mail is targeted mailing, where you get to select specific homes or specific addresses that you can target. And that is included in the list. Typically, you get it either from a third party where you can purchase a list, which is also, an extra added cost for direct mail, or you just get it from, your customer list where you have all the addresses and you just use that customer list to do direct mailing. Um, Again, the postage, it depends on, how big your postcard is, how much it weighs, what type of addressing, how fast you want it to go. So there's a lot of factors involved in the postage on the direct mail side. For EDDM, EDDM is a different service where, we are delivering it to the USPS, and the USPS treats it as kind of like a bulk mail service. So you select the routes online, either on our website or USPS's website. And along that route, there's a mail carrier. The mail carrier will get, your order of postcards, and then he'll go along the route, walk along the route, and then insert it into every single mailbox along that route. So that's sort of how EDDM works. With EDDM, again, the advantages are that um, you don't have to have a mailing list. You can do it online on the service, and it's a much lower rate for postage versus pretty much any direct mail service. Like I mentioned here, even if you're doing direct mail on your own, even if you're doing direct mail on your own, this rate is pretty low compared to direct mail. But if you do it with Forwarder, again, the full service solution, this is the postage rate that you'll be getting. It doesn't matter what size it is. It doesn't matter what stock it is. It doesn't matter the weight. We have 16 different approved sizes, 3 different stocks, 4 different coatings, any of those sizes, any quantity, to anywhere in the United States, you're going to get this one single postage rate of 168 with EDDM full service with 4over. So really, really big benefit. Uh, can't stress it enough. We very much simplify the whole process of EDDM and even mailing in general with EDDM full service. If you want to do a mailing, EDDM's pretty much the fastest and easiest way to do it at the moment, our EDDM full service program. And again, we're not marking up this postage cost. It's a direct pass through from USPS for the postage.
These samples, how many samples do they get?
Samples. So we actually we don't provide samples for EDDM. We don't send any samples out. Um, I think. Oh no, sorry. We changed that. That's right. We do. Sorry. We do change. We do send samples out. There's a button on the website, on our trade website, that says "Send me samples." You can click on that, and then we'll send you samples for any EDDM mailing. I think we just grab like a handful, like 5 or 6, and we enter them into an envelope, and then we ship it out to you. So we do provide samples. Sorry about that. We do provide samples for EDDM mailings if you need it. You just have to check the box on the trade website, and then we'll send it out to you. Wish we could just mail to businesses. Yeah, I mean, ask USPS to include that option. They're gonna have to write a bill for it, go to Congress, get that approved, and then we'll have businesses only. We'll have that option.
Will the price increase since USPS is not making an increase in August?
Yes. So as I mentioned here, there is going to be a price increase next month. Currently, the price is 164 for EDDM. Uh, the price will increase to 168 in August. So yeah, again, that price increase is coming next month. We do have it built in and ready. Currently, the price is 164, but it will be increasing to 168. But that's you're seeing the price increase right there. So it's still incredibly low for postage through our full service solution.
60% of our clients are not local. How do I provide them a map of the routes as you said we would have to?
Oh, okay. So that's a really good question. Uh, this customer is saying that 60% of their customers are not local. How do I provide them with a map of what I've selected for them, or how do I kind of sell them on EDDM? So that's a really good question. I would recommend the way I tell customers to sell EDDM to their customers is to come up with a budget and to come up with the area that they want to hit. So as either a zip code or a radius around their, storefront or whatever it might be. And then you do the work of going to our website, kind of figuring out the demographics that are going to work best for them, within their budget and within their area, right? So once you go and do that on our website, you can see the map on our website, right? You can take a screenshot of that map, of course, obviously without for over branding, without our website on there. But if you just take a picture of the map and show the area that you've selected for them, obviously don't send them the price or anything, just kind of take a screenshot of that, just the mapping area, and use the download routes tool. So you can download all the routes for them. So you'll have that information too, kind of put that in a little estimate package for them and send it off. So then that way they'll be able to see what area you selected for them, what routes specifically you selected for them. And they'll be able to see it in a very nice, kind of estimate that you can put together for them. But yeah, we don't have a direct tool to be able to offer them a kind of sales estimate that includes a picture of the map or includes a picture of the routes, unfortunately, right now. Hopefully in the future we can provide that for you guys. But for now, the best solution we have is take a screenshot of our map without our branding, without our price, and then include the download routes option, so that way you can create an estimate for them based on their budget and the area that they want to hit. You can ask them demographic information. There's sort of basic demographics, kind of like what I mentioned before during the presentation of median household size, median income, how many businesses, how many residential. But that's pretty much all the information that USPS provides us with. So it's not that much information, but I would recommend making that judgment call yourself, knowing the business, having the relationship. That would be a better thing for you to kind of answer for yourself, and within putting that estimate together. So hopefully that kind of helps with that. All right. Okay, so on the 4x6 direct mail cost of 33 cents, that does include postage, first class postage, bulk mail postage. That's what that price includes for 5,000 4x6. Yeah. And then again, comparing this price of 33 cents for 5,000 for 4x6, that's for direct mail. You do have to provide the mailing list. We don't have the mailing list, just to kind of get that out there. We don't have mailing lists. You would still have to provide the mailing list for that. But that does include the processing, the postage, and the print for 33 cents. Versus, again, EDDM full service, which is an 8.5 by 11 size, 5,000 for 30 cents, which includes the print, the bundling, the EDDM fulfillment, and postage to USPS. So again, the minimum for EDDM is 250. So yeah, you can send out 1,000 to an area instead of doing higher quantities. 250 versus 250 is a minimum that USPS imposes. So you do have to select at least 250 addresses to drop off to. But you can go all the way up to anywhere between 250 and 25,000. That's how many you can deliver. Here's another good question. Does USPS or forwarder offer confirmation that a job has been delivered into mailboxes? So We don't have, again, we don't have that direct connection with USPS right now, unfortunately, as far as like the tracking goes. So we're not going to be notified if they've arrived in mailboxes. Again, you can reach out to our customer service and get the tracking information from USPS. We can provide you with that, but we don't automatically tell you, and we don't even get notified if it gets delivered into mailboxes. That's kind of on USPS's side of things. So we can provide you with the tracking number so you can look into it, and then either contact USPS for further information. If something goes wrong.
If I'm in New Jersey and I do EDDM, will it print in New Jersey or will it print out of California?
Okay, so that's a good question. If I'm in New Jersey and I do an EDDM mailing, will it print in California or New Jersey, or where will it print? So just like all our other types of printing that we do on our trade website or even Forward website, we based on your route selection of wherever on the map you select or whatever zip code you put in, we decide what facility is closest to that EDDM mailing. So for example, if you're in California, and you want to deliver to somebody in Ohio, we have a facility in Ohio. So our website is going to say, okay, print these EDDM postcards in Ohio. That's the closest facility. We'll print it and deliver to the USPS in Ohio so they can deliver the postcards. If, for example, it's a little bit further out, like if you're selecting, I don't know why I keep thinking of North Dakota, but I'm just thinking about North Dakota for some reason. There's like, I don't know if anyone's from North Dakota. I don't know why I'm thinking about that, but if it's like, let's say in North Dakota, we print in the closest facility, and then we'll priority mail it to North Dakota, to the post office that's going to be delivering the postcards in North Dakota, and then they'll be distributing it after that. So we really take advantage of our nationwide presence, all our different facilities in regards to EDDM and all our printing. So yeah, the another really great benefit that Forward has, that we can kind of use our different facilities to get that mailing out faster.
Can we customize a piece with perforation?
Okay, so that's another good question. That is popular with EDDM, perforation, or like kind of what we were talking about, brochures, booklets, that sort of thing. We don't have the ability right now for perforation as far as full service goes, but you can do it on your own. If you want to, if you have a customer that wants EDDM with perforation, you can definitely do a normal EDDM postcard, or just a regular postcard or a regular flyer with perforation. You just have to make sure you follow the USPS's rules and regulations to make sure that the mailing can go through. Use the correct type of indicia, a correct type of addressing. Make sure the piece is within their kind of rules also. But yeah, perforation is definitely allowed for EDDM as far as USPS goes, so they're not going to reject it. You can do USPS, you can do EDDM with perforation, folding, booklets, as long as you do it in the EDDM DIY sense.
Is the max 25,000 per day, per order, or per customer?
So the max that I mentioned, about 25,000, is per order. So you can do, like I mentioned, if you have like a mailing of 100,000, you can do it all in the same shopping cart. You would just have to put 4 orders of 25,000 into that shopping cart to order it all at the same time. You know what I mean? There's no limitation as to how many you can place within a day, or how many you can place within a cart even, but the limitation per order is 25,000 at the moment.
Where can we get a copy of this webinar?
So like I said, the webinar is being recorded. We are going to send it out to everybody, everybody who registered for the webinar. Soon after this webinar, as soon as we can get it cut up and uploaded and all that, that does take some time, but that should be pretty soon after the webinar. We'll be able to send you that information and the recording of the webinar on YouTube.
Can you print 9 by 12 postcards for EDDM DFY?
9 by 12 postcards DIY. That size does sound like we can do that, or you can put it through EDDM. I don't. Let's just check together. I don't know if we have a 9 by 12 available in our solution, but you can do a DIY if it falls into the regulations. Let's see.
Customers are saying yes.
Okay, yeah. I want to say yeah. Let's just see here. Full service. I'm going to select sell sheets. So if you see these three different categories here, they're primarily for sizes. So flyers and brochures, they'll have the most sizes in there. Postcards will have postcard sizes. Sell sheets will have sell sheet sizes. Okay. So here, oh, so yeah, so there is a 9 by 12 option here. Just wanted to be sure. I'm pretty sure that was there, but just wanted to be sure and show you guys. So there is a 9 by 12 option here for EDDM full service that we offer, as well as you can do it on your own. So if you want to do EDDM DIY, we do have this print only option here. If I just reset it. Okay. So if I, for example, select sell sheets, if I do print only, okay, that means you don't want us to fulfill the EDDM order or do the, sending to USPS and everything. But 9 by 12 is here also for print only. So you can take this, we'll ship the print to you. We can bundle it if you'd like us to as well, or you can bundle it yourself, really up to you. But you receive the postcards and then do the EDM fulfillment on your own. And then just make sure again to follow all the USPS rules and regulations behind EDDM to make sure that you do it properly and they do not reject it from you. All right, we'll take two more questions and that'll be that. Okay, yeah, another one.
A lot of comments about the samples.
Oh, wow. Somebody ordered 20,000 EDDM postcards while we were doing the webinar. That's awesome. Thank you so much. That's really great news. Thank you. Um, Very happy to hear that.
How can you calculate markup?
How can we calculate markup? So markup is just, kind of a depending on what you want to sell to your customers to. I always recommend, when talking about markups, um, it really depends on your area. So let's go back to the markup here. Again, this is kind of like what I've seen in the industry, what we've seen in the industry for direct mail and EDDM services go for in the retail market, 75 to 125% markup. Again, your markup is up to you pretty much. I would recommend for everybody to go to their market to kind of poll their customers to see what other people in their area are selling EDDM for, or even direct mail for, because it's kind of a typical markup. It gives you a good idea, and then just base it on what you see in the market. Everybody's markup is going to be very different, so I highly recommend doing some research around that for sure. All right, one last question and then we'll end. And again, I will be sending a survey out for the webinar. Make sure you fill that survey out. It lets us know how good this webinar went, if you guys learned something, and it also tells us what other things you want to see during webinars. What other webinars, what other topics you want to cover. So make sure to give us some good feedback there. And also enter any questions that you didn't get answered. I know there's a ton of questions in here. We're not going to be able to get to all of them, but hopefully we'll get to you after the webinar for sure. I got a good comment. I noticed that you don't supply the aspirin for DIY print only option. Oh my God. Thank you for this EDDM service. I'm gonna sell this for from now on. That's awesome news. Yeah, I mean, honestly, so I didn't tell you guys in the beginning, but I've been involved in EDDM for Forver since its inception. So I know how complicated and complex EDDM is. It can be very confusing, it can be very complicated, and there's a lot of different rules and regulations, and the two different types of services that USPS offers. It can be very, very confusing, and we really distilled that down into a very simplified and streamlined service because we knew that was going to help you guys. So we knew if EDDM was going to be successful for us, we wanted to be easy to understand and very simple for you guys to understand. So we did a lot of work behind the scenes to be able to bring the solution that we have to you. So definitely take advantage of it. That's why I always push to do. I know it's a little bit more restrictive on the full service side, the way we do it, but I recommend it because it just takes so much complexity out of the equation that it frees you up to do whatever you need to do with, your customers and everything. So definitely a great solution.
Do we add the indicia into the artwork, or do they have to include it in their design?
Okay, that's a good question. So do we include the indicia in your artwork, or do you have to include it in your design? So that is our template. That is available on our template, and I recommend everybody to, if you're going to do EDDM full service with us, if you're doing EDDM DIY, don't use our template because you're not following the same rules. But if you're doing EDDM full service with us, it is a requirement to download the template, to follow our template, to use our indicia, and have a return address like I mentioned before, during the presentation. Make sure you, use the template like you see here. I do know that some people have not wanted to use or not wanted to place the indicia in that area. We're working on a different solution so that way maybe you can move the indicia around, but for now it is sort of a restricted area where you can put the addressing, the return address, and the indicia. So definitely follow the template to make sure that USPS doesn't reject it for us, from us. This is why it's kind of a little bit more restricted so that USPS will not reject it on their side. All right, we got a success story. We'll do one more because this is a success story, so I want to share with everybody. Somebody said, did an EDDM route for a retailer for around $500. He got a listing worth $63,000 in commission. Now I'm marketing to the entire office to send an EDDM for every listing and every closed transaction. This is such a no-brainer for realtors. So yeah, I mean, that's a market that I kind of mentioned in before. Real estate realtors love EDDM because it just saturates an area with their brand, with their face, with their information, whether they're selling a home, whether they're buying homes from people. It's such a good way and cost-effective way to get the word out there because really, real estate agents kind of work in that way where it's more about referrals. So the more people know your name, the more people kind of see your face, see your name, see your company. That's what works for real estate agents to be able to sell more effectively, to be able to be more trusted. It's just kind of being in front of homeowners as much as possible.